Hello, my dear Libra. I go by Venetian Vibes, and today we're going to do your love and spirituality reading for the month of December. Okay, I've already shuffled the deck for you, and I'm just going to start by lighting your candle. I make these candles every month for my monthly readings. In this month, I've called upon Archangel Raphael for some healing energy that I've imbued into this specific candle. So this is a healing candle, and that's why it's the color green connected to the heart chakra. Okay, so we're going to have that lit for your reading, and I'm going to start by pulling you your beautiful oracle card from Sacred Destiny, just to get our first glimpse into what's going to be going on for you guys in December. Okay, let's see. I'll read to you the meaning of the card that we pull at the end, but for now we're going to get that beautiful keyword on the card. Okay. I'm noticing that the candle is making an interesting flame on on the camera. Oh, here's our card. Okay. I don't know why that's happening. Okay, so we got diligence. Okay, very pragmatic energy for you guys. Diligence. So it's going to be important to be looking at something from a different perspective in December. As the bird flies above the land, it's able to see things that it couldn't have seen by sitting in a tree or by just being on the ground. So there's some sort of perspective that you're going to be gaining in December. I'm feeling it's going to be very important for whatever situation that you're in. So let's get into your reading. Okay, I'm just going to tune into your energy and then part the deck. Okay. All right, starting with your underlining energy for the month, we have the Nine of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so it's looking like you're coming actually out of a very painful situation. Something that's been bringing a lot of pain. A lot of times the Nine of Swords can mean literal mourning. Like the mourning of something that's passed, and it doesn't have to be a person. It can be life circumstances. It can be it's the type of loss that we've incurred somehow in our lives. It can even be just the death of a certain habit that can be really hard to get away from. But there's a process to actually moving on from something like that. So it's going to show up differently in each of your lives, this being a general reading. And I'm feeling called to this little bird here that is kind of a ghostly little bird. So for a lot of you, you might really be sort of mourning or upset about something, a very specific type of death. And like I said, the death can be in many forms, but it feels like the death of something, even if it's not a person or an animal, a living thing that's died. It is something that has ended that feels like a death. And even here, the card underneath, this is the death card, number 13, which they also wrote here rebirth, because it usually is translated into it's a rebirth, because for something to die, something else another life will spring from it. So it's always a rebirth, but it's also in the reverse. So there's a sense of prolonged pain here, and a lot of resistance. So the resistance is regarding what I mean by resistance is it's going to be something that you resisted ending for a long time. Something that you maybe tried to end and it doesn't. And I don't want to take it here. I don't like to get into people's health or anything, but another example of this that it makes me think of from my own life is even, it can even be a literal illness of someone in your life that doesn't seem to go away. It can even be an illness for you that it just doesn't seem to go away. You think it has, and you start to feel better, and then nope, turns out it's back, and the symptoms are back. And so it can even be something like that, or it can be a person in your life who it's just, I'm getting a sense of, in general, a toxic energy, and it can be affecting in your health related areas of your life or in your relational areas of your life. And it's a toxic thing that you've been just really struggling to just end it. And so the reversals are indicating a resistance to ending it, a resistance to simply just mourning the loss and moving on. All right, so we have the Two of Swords in the reverse, Two of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay. Nine of Swords in the reverse. Make sure those are straight for you guys. Okay. It'll look straight from my angle, and then I look at the camera and it's not. I like things to be a little symmetrical. Okay, there we go. Okay, Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Ten of Swords in the reverse. Okay, and Three of Swords. That's just flat out pain there. Okay. On the bottom of the deck, we have the past energies. So energies leading up to December. And I will read into those if I feel called to. Otherwise I'll leave them in the past. Another two though. Two of Wands. Page of Pentacles. Nine of Cups. Okay. Well, the past seems relatively positive, so just interesting. So that must mean that there's an upset that happens in December that you weren't really expecting. Yeah, okay. So let me see where to get started here. The energy is obviously, we have like so many reversals. Everything is reversed except for the Three of Swords here, which is which doesn't really get any worse in a reversed and in the reversed form. It would just indicate once again a more prolonged energy. But okay, so this isn't I'm gonna be honest, like, this is not about to be a super happy, positive month from what I'm seeing. So I'm gonna just give you a trigger warning right now before I get into it. When I have spreads that are particularly challenging, I've already asked my guides and for Spirit to not really give me these messages that are more challenging and hard for you to hear, unless if it's very important and that it's going to actually be beneficial for you to hear it in advance. So with that in mind, I'm going to start with the okay, one second, I'm just getting a okay, some of these reversals are actually a positive thing because they're indicating a release. I'm going to just go ahead and start with our center card here, which is the card of what's going on in your own conscious mind. So this is what you're aware of. It's what you're going through internally that you are aware of. And I'm thinking that my candle is The flame is being extra shiny for you guys because it's really indicating a need for healing. Okay, so the Two of Pentacles in the reverse here. This is typically about decisions. And with this Two of Swords, we have a very strong indication of a decision that you've been resisting making. It has to do with walking away from something or not walking away from it. And this, of course, goes back to what I was just saying with your underlining energy over here and that resistance to an ending. And like I said, it can manifest as a health condition for you or a loved one. It can manifest as a relational, in the realm of relationships or habits, even a job for some of you. We do have Pentacle energy here indicating indicating it could just simply be a career. It's something in your life that's toxic that there's just such a resistance to ending it. Such a resistance to making that decision, to making the decision to end something that needs to be ended. And then sitting in your unconscious position, the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is an ending. It should be an ending when it's upright. In this deck, it's depicted as a woman who is walking away. The crows to me indicate a sort of death. Usually it would be swords, 10 swords in her back, to show that this is done and dead. It's over. But here we have it reversed. So sitting in your unconscious, so this is the energies and what's going on within yourself that you're not fully aware of, but it's causing damage in your life. And what I'm feeling is this is about fear, and it's about fear of the unknown. So this is not something that you're fully aware of within yourself as being such a pivotal role in why you're resisting and ending so much. But this is coming through as there's a part of you that very much fears a future that's so different from your life right now. There's a pain here to the idea of moving on and looking forward in a new way. And the fear is even stronger than the pain that is keeping you in I almost want to say remiss for some reason, but I don't think that's necessarily what I mean. It's stronger than the pain of being in the situation you're in, because at least you know that. There's a comfort to it, and I think you're underestimating how influential that sense of comfort is. Because that comfort of, for example, knowing this person so well, who might be a toxic person in your life, and they might hurt you a lot. I'm reading this energy here. They might hurt you a lot, but you know them so well. And the idea of giving up on it is just like more painful than the fear. Wait. Okay, now I'm starting to I think you guys are feeling confused, because I don't start getting confused unless if it's the energy of the spread. So you're weighing out, there's this game going on within yourself, and you're not even fully aware of it. We all have these parts of ourselves that we're not even really fully aware that this is happening, but It's the unconscious perspective and the conscious perspective. And there might be part of you that's like, okay, it's really time to move on. I need to make this decision. I need to do this and stick with it. But then there's this part of you that is always going back and forth. And it's like, oh, but I know them, or I know this. At least I know this. I don't know what's there for me. What if it's just a loss? What if nothing replaces? What if nothing replaces what I lose by giving this thing up? And I'm just left to feel empty. Or I'm left with nothing. And then this is reflected here too. The Two of Swords. There's just so much confusion. You know, you can see how blindfolded she is. And there's all of these strings. There's a sense of puppeteering happening here. Being controlled by the various thoughts that you're having. The thoughts that I'm guessing are a bit, I already said confusing. Yes, they're confusing, but they're contrary is what I'm thinking. What I was thinking of. There's these contrary thoughts. And it's the fear of the unknown versus the pain of the known, of what you're already experiencing. And there's both voices are kind of squawking at you. But there's this sense of just this repressed form, and it might be coming out more, in December, of how scary it actually is to make a decision. You know, Libras are about the scales, right? You have like this need for things to be in balance. But the thing is people can't really achieve true balance. It's honestly, in my opinion, impossible to be fully. You can't balance. It's not even good to balance two things. If you have two opposing beliefs, two opposing thoughts within yourself, and we all do, balancing those still means they're both still there, so it means that you're still not integrated. What we need to do is integrate these different voices, these different needs that we have. Like I know, like for myself, I have opposing needs, and I struggle with, and everybody does. We struggle with integrating all of our needs so that they're actually what our entire whole self is, just wanting the one thing. And most people want various things, and they can be very contradictory. So without going into that more, I think you get the idea. It's just, you're trying to find a way to balance out these opposing views, and it's not working. It's just causing more confusion. So I'm getting a sense that I'm hearing the word control and a need to let go of control. So this is someone who's really been through it. The Nine of Wands is known as the Wounded Warrior. And they've really been through a lot. And they're just working so hard on building up their barrier so that they can't be attacked anymore. Okay. So it's in the reverse here. Is that a letting go? I think it is in a way. But I'm thinking this is indicating a past of boundary issues. Your boundaries weren't high enough. So for a long time, your boundaries weren't high enough and people weren't treating you well. And then suddenly something clicked with you. And you're like, this really hurts to have these low boundaries. It really feels painful to let people in when I shouldn't, and then they hurt me. So then there was and it might even be something you're going through now, but it's this reversal. Like, and this happens with people when there is, and I see it here with this, like struggling with these extremes, these kind of polar opposites almost. So you have the bad boundaries and you're like, this hurts way too much. I need to have boundaries. And then those boundaries are super, super high. Like, so, like impenetrable, because you've felt the pain of not having any. So then you're going all the way to the opposite end and creating such strong barriers that nobody is really getting through those. And so in a way, it becomes a different kind of blockage in your life, or a different kind of pain in your life, because now no one can get in and you can't achieve intimacy with anybody. So that's going to be a theme to be working out in December. It seems to me, from these the Two of Swords, the Two of Pentacles. In the past we had the Two of Wands. It's feeling like that's the theme in December. For there to be an acknowledgement of these polarizing perspectives within you, because they're keeping you. This girl has a blindfold, and traditionally the person in this card has a blindfold on, because the thoughts are in such control and they're so confusing. You can't see straight. There's no vision beyond them, no clarity beyond them. And so that's when the diligence comes in. And we need to look, these crows, these birds are low to the ground, and they say they're representing your thoughts. So we need to gain higher perspective. If this bird were to represent your thoughts, it would almost be like a transcendence. I would love to see, I'm about to pull clarifiers for you, I'd love to see an Ace of Swords coming through, because that's the energy that you need. It needs to be this burst of clarity, a paradigm shift in thoughts that allows you to see things from a perspective that is just more all-encompassing. And there's a detachment that needs to occur here. So detachment, that's a word that it can be a little bit triggering. I mean, for me at least, because I don't think it's very Buddhist, this idea of detaching from the thoughts a little bit, just kind of allowing them to flow like a stream. But that's not really doing the work of integration. It sort of is just achieving a consciousness separate from your thoughts. And this is totally in my opinion. I think it's great in certain ways, but when it comes to once the meditation's over, maybe you feel good for a while, but for most people, for a lot of people, especially in this world we live in that is just high stress, the Western world, high stress and a lot going on, it's very easy to slip back into this dynamic of just those thoughts. They just come back and you're in the same place you were before. And it's not because there's something wrong with you. It's just there's integration needs to occur here. We need to gain a perspective that's going to create a better space to sort of allow yourself to be out of a balance, because it's almost seeming like, and this is getting a little, it's kind of complicated, but it's seeming like with the Libra energy, there's such a need to obtain a balance that it sort of is invalidating the fact that you're out of balance, that there is these polar opposite thoughts happening within you. And is so your approach to it is not a loving one, if that makes sense. We need to look beyond the need for balance and harmony. Libra is all about harmony, so we need to look beyond that need. That's just another need. And it's time to go beyond that so that we can achieve a love and respect for all aspects of your own psyche and your own desires. I think in December, the place that you're in is high boundaries. Boundaries so high that no one's getting through, and that's causing its own pain. I think you guys have been in pain for a decent amount of time regarding this situation that doesn't seem to end. The Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. I'm almost getting a sense that I feel like it's mirrored energy, because I'm feeling it being someone else's energy, but also your energy. So I'm feeling like there's definitely a mirroring happening. If some of you guys are dealing with someone specific in your life that's a toxic situation, there's a mirroring happening between you and them. You're in a state of a lot of confusion and not really knowing how to handle them. You're not knowing how to fully move on, but you also don't want to fully try to make things happen with them. So you're in a state of limbo. This card is very much getting this energy of limbo for me right now. As I key into the King of Pentacles, we're seeing this diagonal line shooting straight from her energy, going through his, and they're both pentacles. And it's almost like he wants to walk away, but he still is so connected to you. As we see this connection through the pentacles, that visual connection is indicating so much energy that's still invested, and that you're still tied to each other energetically. But you're in this flux, not really knowing how to fully, with 100% of your being, move the fuck on. And I think that's because some of you are just like, it's time to just move the fuck on. Like, there's anger to it, frustration. For those of you who have this specific person, if it's a love interest I'm talking about, not all of you, it's a love interest. I mean, it can also be a family member. It can be whatever. You'll know whatever toxic thing it is that you've been really trying to move on from, and you know what it is. So if it's a person, that's what their energy is, the same as yours. It's like they want to move on, but there's this, I'm going to get it closer so you can see. But there's this energy. You can kind of see it through there. Energetically, they're still feeling tied. And it makes it hard for you too. That they can't fully move on. It makes it hard for you to fully move on. This is you, and you're trying to walk away too. Both of you guys are trying to, you see these two figures trying to walk away. But it's in the reverse, so it's not fully happening. And I think you're both feeling the pain of that. Okay, I'm gonna pull 4 reversals for you guys. We'll see if any more information comes out. Okay. So we have the Hierophant in the reverse. Okay, let me quickly. And then Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay. Queen of Cups. Okay. Queen of Cups. Wow. Wow, okay. Interesting. I honestly don't like that being there right now. And 10 of Wands in the reverse. And out came an extra. 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. And it is connected to this energy here. So I'm gonna, I don't know. I'll just put it here for now. I kind of feel like that's where it should go. All right, so once again, this is mirrored energy between you and this person. It seems like there is a certain sentimentality to them. It would almost seem that in December, they're going to come at you with some sort of love offer. Okay. And this would be the part of them that is very much struggling to move on. I think that they are going to make an offer to you, or they are going to at least approach you in a way that is very sentimental, very loving. They might show some emotions towards you. It's interesting that it's so different from Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is not an emotive person. They're not like someone who is expressing their feelings and being sentimental. They're very pragmatic people, and they're strong, and they show their love by offering protection and stability, and by trying to take care of you. That's how they show their love. The Queen of Cups is very different in that regard. The Queen of Cups is going to offer solace, and they're going to offer emotional validation. They're going to put their feelings out on their sleeve and be vulnerable with you, and they're going to want that in return. But the way that they show their love is through connecting with you emotionally and being someone who is emotionally supportive and sort of that loving, caring type of person. So it's just a very different energy. So I'm surprised to see this Queen of Cups come out. I think you're going to be surprised too. So how do you handle this though? I mean, it sits underneath the Hierophant in the reverse. So to put it at its most basic form, the Hierophant is about commitments and institutions, often representing the institution of marriage. A lot of readers just read it as higher commitments in general, solidifying a connection. I want to say something kind of weird, but it's coming through, so I'm going to say it. And it's neither one of you will bow down to a higher power. Okay, so neither one of you will bow down to a higher power. I'm getting that there's power issues between you and this person. And there's a lack of humility, and there's a lack of holding each other sacred. And especially this person views being holding you in a high regard as lowering their own power. And there's a part of you that probably feels the same way. But anyways, I'll just say that this offer that they make, or this showing of their feelings with the Queen of Cups here, she's holding out her cups. This is representing emotions and feelings. So if they can approach you in this way, it doesn't seem like there's anything structured behind it. It doesn't seem like, with the Hierophant in the reverse, it doesn't seem like they're really offering something solid and stable. So just keep that in mind. And you don't need to make assumptions. It's always best to just ask clearly. That's a question that it might be good to ask if you do get this coming from them, is what exactly are you trying to do here? What exactly do you want? And don't just assume, because I don't think you're really, like I said, diligence. We're needing a higher perspective here. So I don't think it's a good time to make assumptions. Being blindfolded as you are, your assumption could be wrong. So I would just really make sure you're getting a clear understanding of what they're really saying, because they could come at you with all kinds of sentimentality, which a part of them, I'm sure, maybe does feel, but it doesn't mean things are changing. It doesn't mean that there is actual something solid behind it. We do have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. That is security, structure, that solid person who you can rely on is in the reverse. So they're not demonstrating that. So if that's something you want, the cards are not indicating that's what you're getting from them. We also have the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. Oops. Okay, and the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. Let's not forget that. And the Ten of Wands in the reverse. Well, the Ten of Wands in the reverse is not so bad. It's showing that you were actually letting go of a burden. So this thing that's been burdening you, this toxic situation in your life, I think that a lot of you guys are gonna be starting to let it go. But you're just so afraid that there's not going to be opportunity. This represents here opportunity. You're just so afraid that there's not going to be any other opportunities once you let go of this, what you're in right now. You're so afraid that you're just going to be left with nothing. You're afraid you're going to be just giving up on. I mean, this is bizarre. Let me see here. So we have the 2 tens in the reverse. Okay. Wasn't there another? Where was that? Oh, 9 of Cups. Yeah, that's okay. Oh yeah, it was here. 10 of Swords. Okay. So we have 3 tens in the reverse. It's so clear. There's a completion that has to occur, and it's really time to let it go. Looks like you will be giving up the burdens a little bit, but here there's a sense of a strong insecurity. It's almost like you don't know how to end. You don't know how to end, and you don't know how to begin, and that's not good. You should have. You're not at a state where you can just relax and you've got it. You're already there. You have what you want already. You're not there, but you're also not, okay, it's time to really begin something new. It's time to start a new journey. It's time to write a new chapter, and those things you're not sure about either. So we need to have one option for you. But there's this whole sense of just being so blinded by fear you're not going to have an opportunity is not going to come to you if your boundaries are so far up or so high that nothing can reach you. So maybe that's one thing. If you don't remember anything else from this reading, that would be the thing to remember, is let's focus on these boundaries. How are they blocking you from opportunities? Why are they there? There's definitely we need to restore a healthy, and you'll like to hear this, a healthy balance between your boundaries, at least in that regard. We need to have boundaries that are going to let the good things in. Okay? All right. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna read to you this diligence card and see what messages we have for you for that. My readings keep getting a little long, so I apologize. But if you made it to the end, that's great. I really appreciate people being able to listen to the whole shebang, the whole reading. Okay, diligence. There are times in life to step forward and take risks, but there are other times to be patient, step carefully and slowly, and know that the benefits you will gain in the future will be worth it. Be attentive, meticulous, and persistent. Use this time to plan for action steps in the future. Be diligent and consistent at each step as you move forward. By doing so, you will harvest remarkable results in the years ahead. This is not a time for instant gratification. Your diligence will pay off in the future tenfold. This is the time for deliberate organization, clean house, clear clutter out of your life. Be thoughtful about how you spend your time, and be discerning when choosing with whom you spend it. Clear out relationships that do not support you. Okay? Clear out those relationships. Work on creating a boundary that is going to actually work for you in your life. Okay. All right. I hope you guys, if you made it this far, I greatly appreciate it. I hope that you got something out of this reading, and I truly wish the best for you. Okay. I'm going to be doing a pick a card readings soon once I finish these monthly readings for the signs. So, yeah, till next time. Bye.